He described for me how he thought masturbation was a safe sex of the 90s, and he keeps talking about it. Then he went on to...
Wait a second, excuse me. That's wrong.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinland. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy.
All parties on Duncan versus Fox. Step forward, please.
Landlord Angus Duncan says he paid Catherine Fox's rent and gave her money. Now he wants it all back. She says he was trying to buy sexual favors.
Order. All rise, please. Judge, this is number 72 on the calendar in the matter of Duncan versus Fox.
Thank you.
You may be seated.
Mr. Duncan, your complaint, which I have read carefully, sir, says that you rented Miss Fox an apartment that you owned on a year lease.
Correct.
And that she stayed only 3 months.
Correct.
Okay, giving you no notice.
Correct.
You also say that when she moved in, you gave her money to buy a futon couch because she had no furniture, and you gave her money for some other furniture.
I bought the furniture for her.
And that
with
was
the
a chest
agreement
of
that
drawers.
she was going to pay me back a futon and a chest of drawers and a cover.
Okay. And that you lent her some other money for photographs.
Correct.
$150 for photographs, plus you suing for the rent that she didn't pay you.
Correct.
The 1 month, because she didn't give you a 30-day notice.
1 month and 12 days.
Okay. So I have some questions about that, because I don't understand. I've lived in a lot of apartments. I've had a lot of landlords. Nobody ever bought me furniture. So I have some questions about that. Now, you have a countersuit.
Yes.
You say the reason that you moved out was because he was sexually harassing you, and you are countersuing him. Listen, I can't rely on you to be quiet and behave yourselves, and I'm going to have to clear the courtroom. We understand each other? Good. You're going to go back. You are countersuing him for $5,000 because the reason you said you left the apartment was because he was sexually harassing you.
Yes.
So let me start with you. You leased the apartment on a year's lease. Was this the first apartment that you had ever leased?
Yes, I'd never been out of the house before.
So you went right from your parents' house to this apartment? Is that right?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
Right now I'm working at an Aveda store as a sales girl, and I go to school.
And when you moved into the apartment, you signed the lease, you didn't have any furniture?
That's not true. I did have furniture. He asked me how I would furnish the apartment, and I described for him my Southwestern style poster canopy bed.
That you had at home?
Yes, that I had at my father's. It was probably about a year old, but it was a very nice bedroom set. And he told me that it was too big and that it would damage the carpets.
Ma'am,
So
the
he would not let me
studio,
bring
what Miss Fox rented was a studio. It's single. It's one room that's 14 feet by 13 feet with a separate kitchen and a separate bathroom.
But what business was it really of yours, sir? Whether she
think
wanted to bring in a four-poster bed or she wanted...
That's absolutely a fabrication. I never have told any tenant that they couldn't bring their own furniture, and everybody brings their own furniture.
So you didn't tell her that she shouldn't bring in this
Absolutely,
four-poster
I
bed?
did not.
That's
Go ahead.
not true.
Go ahead.
So anyways, he told me that he would help me out so that I wouldn't have to sleep on the floor because I didn't have money to get a brand new bedroom set. Then he was there for several...
Just a second. So you went shopping for this futon?
Yes.
So you went shopping for the futon, you went shopping for the chest, correct?
Yes.
By yourself. He didn't go with you?
No,
No,
he
no,
went
both
with,
of us went in my car.
That was the only way I'd get it, is if he took me.
Okay, so you went in the car, you went and you shopped, and you purchased it, and you bought it
She
cash.
picked out the futon. She said, that's the one that I want. She picked out the cover. She picked out the bed.
So what happened then? You got your futon, you got your chest. What happened next?
Yes, he was over for several hours when I was putting it together. And he described for me how he thought masturbation was a safe sex of the 90s, and he keeps talking about it. Then he went on to...
Wait a second. Excuse me. That's wrong. That's a lie.
Well, what did you say to him when he was talking to you about this? How did this come
I
up
just
in
laughed.
conversation?
I laughed at him.
You mean he just came out of the blue? You were saying, what should we have for lunch? And he tells you that it's masturbation. You must have been talking about something.
No, he was talking about this lady that lives with him who does phone sex. and how he was on the topic of sex. And then he asked me, would I be willing to watch somebody masturbate if they paid me? And I said, well, how much would they pay me? And
Your
he
Honor,
said,
Your Honor, this is all made up. This is really all. This is a total lie.
I'm listening to it. Go ahead. That's my job, to try to figure out what's made up and what's not. Go
and
ahead.
then he told me he would give me $200. And I'm sorry, but it's not worth it to watch him masturbate for $200. Besides the fact
How about
that
$600?
this man could not.
No, Miss Cox. Miss Fox, my question to you is,
No, it
I don't
wasn't-
understand your response. If he said that to you, and you say, for how much? Now, that connotes in my mind that if the amount was right, it would have been okay. That's sort of like, that's sort of encouraging the conversation.
Well, okay,
Don't you see that?
Maybe I did encourage the conversation. I was extremely naive on a lot of things with Angus, and I did get walked all over.
That piece of the conversation that you just relayed to me comes under the category of being naive and not smart, or encouraging somebody. If somebody says to you, you want to have this kind of sex, and you say, well, how much will you pay me? And they say, oh, and you say, well, that's not enough. You know, the connotation is that enough?
I didn't tell him that's not enough. I just...
You ask the question
How
rather
much?
than just saying no.
Yeah.
All right.
He was a generous landlord, but she says he wanted more than the rent. Judge Judy returns in a moment.
He told me to get really sexy pictures. He told me to go to Victoria's Secrets and buy a bra, bring him the receipt, and he would pay for it. He said for me to get my breasts up by my face, and that would make me act.
Landlord Angus Duncan says he paid Catherine Fox's rent and gave her money. Now he wants it all back. She says he was trying to buy sexual favors.
So what happened next?
So I told him no, because he was my landlord, and I figured it would probably leave it at that. About a month went by, because I wasn't there very long. About a month went by, and I started getting all these phone calls from Angus. This is June now in the Valley, and he's telling me, your windows are shut. I mean, your windows are open. Why are your windows open? Keep your windows shut. Too much dirt and dust gets in there. I want you to keep your windows shut. Every day there was a message on my answering machine.
Did you call her and tell her to keep her windows closed?
Absolutely not. This whole thing is made up. When I said to her, when you leave your place, please close the windows. I don't want to take any chance with security. There's no locks on the windows.
So you did, Mr. Duncan.
So, yes.
So you did tell her
Yes,
to keep
but
her
I didn't
windows
call her up
closed.
and say, your windows are closed or open, close them. I said,
But-
when you leave, please lock the door and close the windows.
Because what floor is she on?
It's all one floor.
It's one level,
all-
so
one
it's a
level.
street level.
Correct.
So you wanted the windows closed for security
Correct.
reasons.
No, there was a gate around the place.
Gate
And
around the place or not, he's telling you keep it closed for security reasons.
Okay, but it was my stuff in there anyways. But basically, it's a tiny little place. And it's very hot, it's very stuffy, it was like a box. I had to keep the windows open for ventilation. If I shut all the windows up, went to work and came home, I died until 12 o'clock at night. So I told him it was my choice, I'm keeping the windows open. He called me later and told me if I did not shut the windows, I had 24 hours, he was gonna go in my place and shut them for me. I called Angus back, I said I've consulted with the police, and he told me, get the hell out. I don't want you in my place anymore, get out of there. I hung up the phone and I started crying because I had nowhere to go. I didn't have the money to start all over again. And I was really upset. Angus called a couple days later, trying to be my friend, trying to be nice to me, telling me, oh, well, let me help you out. Let me get you the money for the pictures. Let me borrow this.
How did he know about pictures? What kind of pictures?
He was so into me wanting to act. He wanted to introduce me to his manager.
How did he know about pictures, Miss Fox?
He wanted me to get pictures.
So it was his idea?
Yeah, he told me to get really sexy pictures. He told me to go to Victoria's Secrets and buy a bra, bring him the receipt, and he would pay for it. He said for me to get my breasts up by my face, and that would make me act.
So you took the $150 for photographs?
Well, he just gave me the money.
You took the
Yes,
$150
yes.
for photographs. Next. So what happened? So you took the $150 for the photographs, then what happened?
Okay, then a couple days later, well, about several weeks later, my neighbor had moved out, and Angus came to me and told me to put the gas bill in my name. And I asked him, because he insisted that he do everything for me when I first moved in. I said, when I called the gas company, I said, why is my bill so high? I don't understand. I have like this hot plate and I use the shower, you know, why is my gas bill so extremely high every month? And they said, well, are you aware that this is a commercial unit? It runs off 2 places. And I said, no. And they said, well, you know, this is the landlord's responsibility. Angus told me, no, you put it in your name and you collect rent. We split it 70-30. You collect from the person in front. I told him with my financial situation that I was not going to be responsible for that. I was not going to be responsible
How much had you paid to the gas company in the 3 months that you lived there?
They were like $80. I don't know. I remember the first one was like $80 and then $40 or something like that.
And you paid that all yourself? You paid that all yourself, Ms. Fox?
No.
Well, who paid it? Who paid it?
It didn't get paid.
So what did you pay him in total, Ms. Fox, for the 3 months that you lived there? You gave him a security deposit of how much?
No. Oops.
How much did you give him a security deposit?
I think it was $250.
How much did she give you, Mr. Duncan?
$200. And that was only 1 month at a time. She asked if she could pay the security deposit of $450, which is what the rent was, 1 month at a time. She asked if she could pay the first month.
Well, she says it was $250. You say it was $200, and the rental in the apartment was, according to the papers, $450.
Correct.
So that wasn't a 1 month security deposit. How did you pay him rent for the first month you were there?
Yes.
And the second month?
Yes.
And the third month?
Yes.
And then you left.
Can I tell you why I left?
Well, tell me why you left.
Okay, because he told me to get the hell out again. This is the second time he told me to leave. He told me to get out again. This time, I had somewhere to go.
That's what you say in your answer, that you had somewhere to go. Where did you have to go?
My friend at work, her grandparents own a studio, and they were willing to let me rent it with nothing down. And
for how much?
$350 a month.
So you were able to move into a studio for less money, with no security and no anything.
He told me he was going to shut off my gas anyways.
You were able to move at that point into a studio for less money, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a generous landlord, but she says he wanted more than the rent. Judge Judy returns in a moment.
She proceeded to have a wild affair with Damon Mintz, in which she spent most all of her time with this guy in the front
While Chavez
unit.
was there?
Landlord Angus Duncan says he paid Catherine Fox's rent and gave her money. Now he wants it all back. She says he was trying to buy sexual favors.
Now, Mr. Duncan, you've heard Miss Fox's story about when she first moved into the house. Is that true?
Absolutely not. On the 23rd of April, Ms. Fox came to look at the studio, and it is immaculate. What it is 2 duplexes on one piece of property with a patio in between. The person in the front unit has to pay, usually the person that rents the front unit, because it's a much bigger unit, puts the electric, the DWP, and the gas in their name, and then when the bills come in, the person in the back splits with a 70-30 split. When Ms. Fox moved into the unit, the front unit was still available. It was not rented. So if she wanted gas and she wanted electricity, she had to put it into her name, which apparently she did that. On the 26th of April, the story that she told when she moved in was one in which she cried while telling it. It has been a very difficult situation in her home. She wanted to get out. She didn't even know whether she'd be able to get her furniture. I never said that she couldn't bring her furniture. I would encourage anybody to bring their furniture. She said she didn't have anything, didn't have any money. She had $450 for the first month and $100 toward the security deposit of $450. She asked if that would be acceptable. I said yes.
That's not true. He wanted me there so bad, he was willing to work anything out with me.
I told him to be quiet when you were telling me your version of these events. I expect you to do the same thing.
Okay.
So on the 26th of April, Ms. Fox went with me in my car. There was no gun to her head. She went with me to pick out the futon and the chest of drawers.
Mr. Duncan, why in the world would you do that for this young lady?
He wanted to be my father, my boyfriend. He wanted to be everything to me, and he tried to play everyone against me.
Miss Fox, what did you need these photographs taken for? What kind of work were you trying to get?
I didn't even get the photographs taken.
What kind of work were you trying to get?
Acting.
You said you didn't take the photographs, but you took the $150. What did you do with the $150 if you didn't take the photographs?
I don't remember. I felt after everything he had done to me, making me keep my windows shut in June in the valley, I felt like he owed it to me.
Can we come back?
Okay, and maybe I was wrong.
Can we come back? Can I finish mine?
If you feel as if it's absolutely
Yeah, I do.
necessary,
I sure
so.
do.
Okay.
The 26th, we went to pick out the furniture. On the 15th of May, she called me and said that she needed a shelf to put her microwave on. I went over, I picked her up, I took her to IKEA. This is the receipt for the shelf she could put her microwave on. On the way out of the store, I said, do you have any silverware things to eat with? And she said, no. I said, let me get you a set of stainless steel, my own expense. I bought her a set of stainless steel. I asked her if she had any glasses to drink from. They weren't real expensive, but the whole bill came to $79. Okay,
No,
excuse me,
he
can I
bought me
finish here?
everything.
Can I finish here? I bought that stuff. I never said that's something you have to pay me back for. That was on the 15th of May. On the 20th, she called and asked me if a guy named Thomas Chavez from Arizona could come and stay with her in this 14 by 13 foot room. I said that would be all right if it was for a short period of time. This clown moved in. He built stuff in the back. It was not required of him. Nothing was required of him. He stayed. I then rented the front unit to a guy named Damon Mintz. She proceeded to have a wild affair with Damon Mintz in which she spent most all of her time with this guy in the front
Chavez
unit.
was there?
Well, yeah, I guess this guy was just a friend. This Thomas Chavez was just
a
a
friend of mine. He is saying this because my boyfriend is here. He is trying
Absolutely
to play me
not.
off my boyfriend. He called Jack several times telling him about some wild affair. He is my landlord.
Miss
Who do
Fox,
you care who I date?
She's ready to rule in a moment.
Miss Fox, let me tell you what I don't understand. You seem to be standing there in a state of righteous indignation over what you allege is sexual harassment that you told me about on the day that you moved into the apartment when you were having this conversation over all this other stuff. And I say to myself, if that occurred, what in the world were you doing going with him to buy silverware?
Oh, there's more.
No. Listen, Mr. Duncan, when it looks like you got the ear of the judge, he's supposed to be quiet. Go with him to buy glasses and silverware and a shelf for your microwave, all of which you call him about. You took $150 from him, according to you, to buy photographs because you want to be an actress, but you never used the money for the photographs. You acknowledged to me that after you were so offended by all this language that he's using to you the first day you moved in, you continued to me, almost exploit it. Now, if you weren't encouraging it, madam, you were at least exploiting it for all it was worth because he was giving you money. You could have said, I can't stay in this place. This man is giving me the creeps. I'm going back home. You didn't say that, Miss Fox. You waited until, even according to your answer, you had another apartment to go to for less money, right? And no security. And then whatever he might have been doing became that offensive to you. I'm ready to rule in this case. Just listen. You owe him for $450 for the month's rent when you moved out. You owe him for $289 for the futon that he bought. You owe him for $70 for the chest and a $150 loan for the photographs. You owe him a total of $859. That's a judgment for the plaintiff, and your countersuit, madam, is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. Step out, please.
তুমি দেখছো দাও নাও এই দাও আমার 017 42 দাও Jadi sudah juga sini. Siang lagi. Terus meja. Nah, lagi sudah lagi kan? Itu jangan itu. Ada gini kita jempela yang kita. Oh, kami bisa. Ada yang kita sana kan. Rabu. Turun lagi. Nah. Apa dan dia terus parang tuh. Itu nah. কি করলাম আমরা সদস্য বলি একশোর মতো আরে কি তো কি করবো তুমি ভাঙবো না এই একশোটা ভাঙবো না হয়ে দিবে নাকি ভাঙতে ভাঙি দিয়েছি 5 6 7 8 9 10 হ্যাঁ আমি দিতাম ভাঙতে কত পরিমাণ